10:02 on the Fan. What's going on, everybody? How are you today? This is the start of a new day. Well, it is a new day, obviously. When you wake up, it's the start of a new day. It's the start of a new era, and it is the start of, I think, our first disagreement. Because I go away last week, right? And I got Licata saying the Yanks are going to sweep the Royals. Yanks is still good. Cashman's still that. And I'm sitting there saying, all right, well, what's going to transpire when I go away? Here's what transpires. The Yankees lose a couple to the wretched Rockies. They get absolutely punked by the Mike Troutless Angels. And because Anthony Rizzo cranks out 4 hits against the pathetic Royals, I am supposed to now look at this team who's had 9 left fielders, okay? Hasn't developed a starting pitcher in 20 years, babe, unless you buy Cole, CC, or Tanaka. Hasn't done a thing. You know how I feel about Cashman. And because of this weekend, Sal, I'm supposed to look at this team and say, oh, I was wrong the last couple of years. Yankees are good.
Yes, you are, BT. Stradamus was right. They were going to sweep the Royals, I said on Friday, and they did. And it's not just because of the Royals. Like, people are like, oh, you're taking bows for the Yankees sweeping the Royals. Yeah, well, guess what? On Friday, nobody was calling saying the Yankees are going to sweep the Royals. They're all saying, oh, it's over. They're going backwards. And they were sinking like a rock, playing themselves into cellars. This Yankee team still has everything out there in front of them, BT, to make the postseason and make a run in the postseason.
See, my biggest issue with that, and the issues that we've discussed very separately amongst ourselves, you with your show and mine with my old show, nothing's changed. And to me, the only thing that people point to with the Yankees, and this is why I'm like, I can't play this game anymore, is there's still time left. Like, I need, and I'm going to actually listen to you right now. I need people.
Well, I hope so, BT. Well, now you're part of it. You got to listen to me now, baby. They let me in. I'm in, baby. I'm coming. I got to be myself. What? You
He's got his Max shirt on, the Max who stole. But we'll get to your message, by the way.
Yeah,
I need something tangible. I don't want there's time and they're only 2.5 out of the walk. Tangibly speaking, why are the Yankees going to go on a run?
Okay.
Why?
So here's why I believe that the Yankees can go win the World Series. And obviously these predictions like, okay, they're going to win the World Series. But I do believe everything's still there in front of them because, number one, I look at the American League. I don't see any. In early May, this is where I made my decision. And I hate to flip-flop back and forth, but obviously you follow a team. You're going to feel good about them at times. Sometimes you're not. But in May, where the Yankees were, I think they were 10 back going into Tampa without Judge at the Trop. Bader comes back. They play well, even though they lose 2 out of 3.
Cole blew the big lead on Sunday.
Okay.
Oh, I hate that. I get back from Boomer's bike tour, and I'm listening. I'm dying. I'm cramping, and I got to hear Cole flush a 6-0 lead down the chute,
which stunk. But I saw more positive in that than negative. Then they followed up at home with Judge back, and they split a very good back and forth series. Point is, that was at the time the best the American League had to offer. And I was like, you know what? The Yankees showed me something here. Now, since then, it's been up and down. Obviously, Judge has been out there, different things. But look at the American League. The Rays have fallen. Are you really that worried about the Orioles? Are you really that scared of the Blue Jays? I'm not scared of anybody in the Central. And then you look at the West, Texas. Yankees beat them 2 out of 3 not too long ago. So I look at the American League and don't feel threatened by any team. Plus the pitching, the bullpen, and the rotation, to me, going into the postseason, which the Yankees are always in and they'll get there, that's lined up better than years past. That's number one.
877-337-6666. 10:06 on the Fan. It's the Brandon Tierney Sal Licata show. That's a mouthful, huh? We're going to condense that real soon, like by the end of today. You know what's crazy? Because when you have this conversation, as we all have had for years about the New York Yankees, it generally morphs into one or two things from the non-Yankee fan. It's an entitlement, okay? And I understand that because there's a lot of clown Yankee fans out there that are young who think because they grew up 96, 98, 99, 2000, lose in 01, get there in 03, lose, and then, of course, win in 09, that it's a rite of passage, which is not me because, as you know, I just turned 50.
Right.
And the 80s were empty for me outside of Mattingly. No wild card, nothing. I was too young for 81.
Yeah, I love the 80s Yankees. They didn't win anything. I grew up that's why I grew up a Mets fan in 86 or whatever. But the late 80s. I want to know, BT, why you don't believe in this team then.
Because I don't believe in the person who built this team. It's as simple as that. I mean, if you want, hit the button. Brian Cashman has not earned the right. Brian Cashman does not know how to build a championship team. Let me just tell you this, and I know people know this, but when you hear it, let this resonate even more than usual. Like, let it just kind of bounce around your brain. The Yankees have not had a consistent leadoff hitter in basically 15 years. The Yankees have not developed a starter, a stud starter, basically this century. The Yankees have had 9 left fielders this year. And, oh, yeah, by the way, when the Yankees won championships, they were always littered with lefty power. Paul O'Neill, Darryl coming in, Hideki Matsui, Greg Nettles back in the day, Reggie Jackson. Obviously, now they've got no lefty power. The guy finally hits one yesterday, Rizzo, and I respect Rizzo. I'm not trying to just bag people unnecessarily, but I feel like
he's been dreadful. I mean,
he hasn't hit a home run since May before yesterday. So I just look at other teams, right? And I see younger, more dynamic, more athletic, faster, more reliable, whether it's contact, whatever it might be. Like, all the numbers are the numbers. And the problems, Sal, are the problems that existed last year,
right?
The year before. They haven't gone away.
Do you think the Yankees are getting to the postseason?
Yeah, I think they'll squeeze in.
So
I think they'll squeeze in.
So, because the problem has always been in years past, and this is why I would have made a change with Cashman and Boone in 2021. Now, I don't, and I've heard you say this before. Well, just because they're not going to make a change doesn't mean we shouldn't scream about it, and I understand that. But I would have made the decision to make change and tell Cashman the same thing that he told Girardi after 2017. You've been great.
Yeah.
It's time. It's just time for new vision, new voice. But the years, usually, BT, the regular season for the Yankees outside of that 2021, they mash in the regular season.
Yeah.
They get to the postseason. The offense falters. Well, now their offense has been dreadful this year. So if they get there, there's nowhere to go but up for the offense. What makes you think that their team, with Cole, with Cortez coming back, now Rodon has stunk, and that's a whole nother thing, blowing games and blowing kisses, so you got to worry about him. But their bullpen has been better, and they're going to add to it.
The last 10 days, it has not been as good. They've been worn out.
Colorado series in there as well.
They've been knocked around a little bit. But listen, I'm with you. Largely, it's a plus. For sure.
Maybe coming back. And Cashman always adds as well. I mean,
listen, you know what? Here's the thing. And yeah, man, it keeps coming back to Cashman more than Boone, because Boone can only do and deal with and manipulate the roster that Brian Cashman's given him. And I think for the most part, the team listens to Boone. I think they respect him, and it is what it is. Although I can even be an advocate for a different voice at some point. But I look at every single year, right? And every year we come, and I'm not one who just associates, well, you got a $300 million payroll, go win the champ. I know it's harder than that. Look at your Mets. It's a lot harder than that, right? But can you explain, and I'm all ears. I'm very curious how you answer this, because you're a big Brian Cashman proponent, much more than me. I'm a detractor at this point, even though I respect his body of work, in totality. If you've got a payroll that is always on the precipice of $300 million, why must you every single season, Sal, go out there and try to fix it? Let me go get Joey Gallo. Let me go get Rougned Odor. Let me go out and get Frankie Montas, who's not even healthy. Let me get Efros. Let me get Rizzo. Let me get this guy. Like, Jesus, how many mulligans do you need to make a roster?
Oh, Donaldson was a bad trade. The fact that the Yankees... See, this is a whole nother topic, but the Yankees have not been operating like the Yankees. They need a shortstop a couple years ago. Instead of just going and buying the best one available, they go get IKF, who's not, in fact, a shortstop. They butchered that years over. But they always make the postseason. And when I look at this Yankees team, and it has been ugly, all right? It's to a point, even last year, BT, I'm watching this team, and I don't think they're any good, but yet they start out like the 98 Yankees. Yet last year we say, this team's not that very good. They get to the ALCS. I know they got swept, but they still made... There was only one more round to go. I look at this year's team. Right now, they're at their lowest, or they were going into Friday's series. At their lowest. And I look at them and say, they're playing the crappy Royals. They're at home. They'll sweep this series. They're going to get Judge back at some point. Cortez is coming back, and they will add. And the American League landscape isn't that daunting to me. Go figure. Of all years where it doesn't look likely, this will be the year where the Yankees make a run in the postseason. I firmly believe it.
All right. Listen, I hope you're right, by the way.
I hope I'm wrong. I can't take it anymore. I want to be wrong. I hate the freaking Yankees.
Oh, man. Mary Buckmas, 877-337-6666. It is the Brandon Tierney Sal Licata show on the Fan. All right. It is day one for us, and we're into it. We're ready to roll. Let's get to you. This is interesting. Zeke in Flatbush says BT is wrong. We'll get to that first, see what's going on. Zeke, what's happening, buddy? How are you?
There is a first for everything, Brandon, so it's okay.
Okay. Educate me, Zeke.
Well, first and foremost, before we go there, as the inaugural caller of the show, I think I have naming rights, and I'd like to call it the Big BS Show.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, we've got Sal, and I don't think our boss likes it, actually. I don't know if I like that one either.
All right. Well, Brandon, you got to start somewhere. You're floundering. You're barely treading water. and the Kansas City Royals come to town, and you take care of business. There were signs. There were good signs, yes, against a AAA team, but you got to start somewhere. And this was a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Zeke, I appreciate the wins here, and by the way, guys, it's not like they beat them by the aggregate score of 17-3. There's a couple of nail-biters mixed in there. I mean,
offense did look better. They scored a bunch of runs. I mean, you had to figure that was going to happen. It's funny, though, BT. On Friday, and thanks for the call, Zeke, on Friday, people were saying, what makes you think the Yankees are going to... Oh, the Royals suck. I mean, they're one of the worst teams.
They're bad.
They're awful.
Dude, they're bad.
So the Yankees had to sweep this series, which they did, but at least you started to see some encouraging things. Stanton, Rizzo, even LeMahieu to a lesser extent, but at least Rizzo and Stanton looked like they maybe could get it going here.
Yeah, listen, LeMahieu's a guy who's looked washed until the last 7-8 games. Did you say... I know you did. I know you're watching the game, but did you see Stanton scoring from first base on the...
I actually did not see that. What day was this?
Geez, this was yesterday. Okay. I mean, you want to talk about it. I think, was it Gio? Somebody this morning said, I think it was Greg, I have not seen a guy, like it's almost like the Yankees said, don't run. Like, do you really think that it was so embarrassingly slow and painful to watch? It's like the guy's 40. The guy's 33 years old. I mean, this is the problem with the Yankees. So here's what we're relying on. We're praying on bended knee, please, that Aaron Judge is healthy. Number one.
Right. Which he didn't look. Did you see that yesterday?
That's the 4 foul balls?
Yeah.
I did.
And how about Boone saying, Johnny Lowe, he's not going to face a tougher righty than that.
I saw that. I heard that from Boone. So you're praying that Aaron Judge comes back, and then you're praying that Aaron Judge comes back as Aaron Judge, number one. Number two, you're hoping that yesterday wasn't just a little, I had a great day, and that Rizzo's going to start raking. I don't believe that. And you hope that Stanton stays healthy. And there's just, they've got, oh, man, it is. I'm so tired of it's the same stuff every year.
But they make the postseason.
But that's a different conversation, Sal. But that's a different conversation.
But you have to be in it to win it. And I'm not one of these guys normally, BT, that says, it's a crapshoot, just get to the postseason. But this year, I really feel like because of the landscape of the American League and the way that the Yankees line up with their pitching, that it is just get in and they will be better than any. Look, at some point, the Yankees are going to break through and get to a World Series. I felt that way since 2017. It hasn't happened yet. At some point, Judge will lead them to a World Series. They're too good not to. And I watched them last year. I didn't think they were very good. They get to the ALCS. This year, I think you can make the case. People say, they're not very good. Watch this be the year that they get to the World Series.
I got to tell you, I'd be stunned. I was pretty surprised in '96 when they won the first one since the '78 World Series. Obviously, got their '81. They lost that to the Dodgers, as we know. '96 surprised me because my whole childhood I had never seen one. Obviously, the wild card with the 3-game comeback by Seattle out there in Seattle in '95, '94 Yankees were great, Expos were great, season canceled. But '96 still surprised me, even though they were on this trajectory of improvement. Bringing guys like Jimmy Key, and you had Paul O'Neill, and you had those other, we know who
especially down
Boggs.
Down 0-2 to the Braves, getting spanked in those first 2 games.
They got crushed in the first game. Like Pettit gave up a ton of runs.
Going nuts.
Yeah, Jones hit 2 bombs. So, '96 surprised me. If the Yankees won the World... First of all, I don't want to make it seem like I wouldn't be thrilled. I'd be pumped. The Yankees, if they got to the World Series this year, Sal, I think it honestly might represent the most stunned I've ever been as a Yankee fan. I just don't see it.
Interesting.
I don't. I really don't. Let's get Edwin up in Newburgh on the fence, the Brandon Tierney and Sal Licata show. What's going on, Eddie? How are you, bud?
Hey, how you doing, BT? It is so great to have you back. Last week, oh my God, I missed you last week.
Well, by the way, make sure you say hi to my new partner, Sal's in the house.
I was here last week, Edwin, so you got a problem with me? I'm right here, big boy. What's your issue?
There we go.
To you, management doesn't do nothing wrong. The management, they're always great. And you're talking about the Yankees going to the World Series. Come on, what players do?
Edwin, I know you listened. Did you listen to Sal Stradamus correctly predict a sweep last week on Friday? Where were you? You didn't think they were going to sweep. How come I had to be the voice of reason for the Yankee fans? Me, a Met fan who grew up hating the Yankees in the 90s, had to be the voice of reason for you Yankee fans.
No,
you should be thanking me, Edwin.
Listen, I knew the Yankees were going to sweep one. As a matter of fact, I'm not a Yankee fan. They beat my team. That's my team, the Kansas City Royals.
Royals fan.
What the hell are we doing listening to you, Edwin?
Because I'm calling you out. I enjoy this show so much, and I love GT. That's right. And I'm glad that BT's there, that he could check you on those outrageous comments that you make sometimes.
What was outrageous?
Well, the Yankees going to the World Series. That's
I didn't say they're going to. I said they could. Where a lot of people are doubting them,
No,
they could.
They're going to win. With what players they're going to win?
Oh, we just told you. I mean, did you not listen? You liked the show so much. Did you not listen to the first 5 minutes? I just explained it.
You even said that if the Angels call and they want Volpe to hang up the phone, Volpe, what has he done? De La Cruz is even better than him. If Volpe would be doing what De La Cruz is doing, I could only imagine what you'd be saying about you will have this kind of...
Well, Edwin, here's the problem, buddy, and thank you for the call. Really appreciate that, man. By the way, we're inside of our Town Fair Tire. Should probably get back to doing some reads here, Mr. Kramer, huh? We're inside of our Town Fair Tire studio. We're friends at Town Fair. Remind you that you always get the guaranteed lowest price on brand name tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. So the Yanks and the Mets are off today, right? Playing tomorrow. Sal, I don't know who's batting leadoff tomorrow. I mean, is it Rizzo? Is it DJ? Is it Volpe?
You don't think they'll address? Remember, now, last year he tried to address it at the deadline with Benintendi. He got hurt. I mean, that was a big issue for him. But you're right. Like, in season, you should. The Yankees in the offseason, Cashman himself, BT, said, we need a left fielder.
I know.
And they didn't
nothing.
get one.
He let Reynolds sign a long-term deal with the Pirates. He let some other guys bounce around.
I think they got spurned by Benintendi. He didn't want to be here. They thought they would probably have him back.
Yeah, but listen, Benintendi was good, but it's, to me, listen, if somebody said today, all right, it's the first day of the new show, and your mission, not that anybody would say this, but you need to, for 4 hours, craft like a positive conversation about why you think the Yankees might be able to get to the, okay, if I hang on 10 variables, yeah, of course, listen.
But there's always going to be variables. I'm telling you, I legitimately.
No, and I believe you. I do. I believe that you're saying
I don't know if it's because I grew up, brainwashed watching the Yankees do it all the time. I'm not going to be. Look, I thought they weren't good last year. And what happened? They get to the ALCS. Like, I know that you're a Yankee fan and the standards are higher and it's World Series of bust.
No, but that's not for me. I get a little. I disassociate myself from. Not that I don't want to win.
I get that.
But it's not a right to get to the World Series. You know that. Real Yankee fans know that.
Fair enough, and I get that to a certain extent. But even this year seemed like I'm not going to be fooled again when you look at. I've seen too much. By the way, even the Orioles, right, who are playing great baseball, and the
good
Yankees,
weekend.
Look, whether we say it or not, we're going to find out here coming up in a couple of weeks because the Orioles, the Rays, and then the Astros. Not even a couple of weeks. This coming weekend, right?
Oh, after the toughest challenge is tomorrow against your Mets.
Lucky me. Before you and I even do this show that's been talked about for months, the Mets are dead and buried before we even do the number one show. And I get the Yankees are going to probably sweep the Mets here, but point is, I've seen too much from this Yankees team this year, even in small spurts against the Orioles, against the Rays, against the Blue Jays. I don't believe anybody against the Rangers. I don't believe anybody in the American League is that much better than that.
We got Mr. Positivity out of the shoe. Look at Licata.
Positive Sal, do you believe it?
Positive Sal. Yeah. He's Sal Stradamus. What else did you call you? How about the tweet over the week? I got to read a tweet from Sal. That he banged out last night. I got to read that. You guys.
That was a troll tweet. I'm
sure it was. You guys will crack up at this. It was pretty funny. 877-337-6666. It is the Brandon Tierney and Sal Licata show.